Imagine living on an island divided for half a century, where every decision, every weapon, every alliance could shift the fragile balance between peace and war in the Eastern Mediterranean. Today, Cyprus is once again making global headlines. Why? Because the Republic of Cyprus has just purchased one of Israel's most advanced missile defense systems, the Barak MX. Turkey immediately denounced this move as a dangerous provocation and warned of serious consequences. So, what does this really mean? Is Cyprus preparing for conflict? Is Turkey bluffing? Or could this be the spark that ignites a new crisis in the Mediterranean? To understand why this deal matters so much, we need to look back. Since 1974, Cyprus has been a divided island. Following a coup backed by Greece and the subsequent Turkish military intervention, the island was split into two entities: the Republic of Cyprus, internationally recognized, and now a member of the European Union, and the Turkish-controlled North, recognized only by Ankara. Over the decades, the so-called Green Line, the buffer zone maintained by the United Nations, has become a permanent scar across the island. But despite the stalemate, tensions have never disappeared. Turkey maintains over 30,000 troops in northern Cyprus. Meanwhile, the south, backed by Greece and the EU, constantly seeks ways to secure its sovereignty. And now, with new energy discoveries in the Eastern Mediterranean, the stakes are higher than ever. Control of the seas, the skies, and access to natural gas resources have transformed this small island into a strategic battleground. So why is Cyprus buying the Barak MX from Israel? The Barak MX is not just any missile defense system, it's one of the most advanced in the world. Developed by Israel Aerospace Industries, it can intercept ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, aircraft, and even drones. It is modular, flexible, and capable of integrating with NATO radar networks. For Cyprus, this means more than defense. It means deterrence. By deploying the Barak MX, Cyprus sends a clear message. We will not be defenseless. We are ready to counter any aerial threat, whether it comes from drones, fighter jets, or missiles. And there's another layer here. Cyprus isn't just upgrading its defense, it's deepening a strategic partnership with Israel. Over the last decade, Israel, Greece, and Cyprus have drawn closer, particularly over energy exploration and security in the Mediterranean. This deal formalizes that partnership in a way Turkey cannot ignore. The reaction from Ankara was immediate and fierce. Turkish officials warned that the deployment of Israeli systems in Cyprus disturbs the balance of power and could have dangerous consequences. Why such a strong reaction? From Turkey's perspective, this is about more than weapons. It's about geopolitics. Turkey already feels surrounded. It sees Greece and Cyprus building alliances with Israel, Egypt, and even the United States. Turkish analysts often describe this as a strategic encirclement. The Barak MX makes that perception worse. Turkish media quickly called the move a provocation and suggested that Ankara could respond by deploying its own missile systems in northern Cyprus, increasing its military presence on the island, or even strengthening its drone operations, which have become a key part of Turkish strategy. Some hardliners in Turkey went further, arguing that if Cyprus dares to deploy Israeli systems, then Turkey should consider striking them before they become fully operational. Now, is that realistic? Probably not. But the rhetoric alone raises the temperature in an already volatile region. And before we continue with how Greece and the European Union are reacting, let me pause for just a second. If you're finding this deep dive into Cyprus and the Eastern Mediterranean useful, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way, you won't miss our next videos on Cyprus, Turkey, Israel, and the shifting balance of power in this region. All right, let's get back to the story. And what about Greece? Athens immediately expressed support, framing the purchase as a defensive necessity. For Greece, every Cypriot move that strengthens deterrence against Turkey is a win. The European Union took a more cautious stance. Officials in Brussels stressed that every member state has the right to self-defense, but they also worry that this deal could escalate tensions with Ankara. Let's not forget, Turkey is still technically a NATO member, and despite years of strained relations, the EU relies on Ankara for managing migration flows and regional security. So while the EU won't openly criticize Cyprus, there is quiet concern in European capitals that this deal might deepen the divide between Turkey and the West. What do people in Cyprus think? In the south, most see this as a positive step, a shield against threats that have loomed for decades. To them, it's not about aggression, it's about survival. In the north, however, pro-Ankara politicians and media portray the move as hostile, evidence that the Greek Cypriot government is preparing for confrontation rather than reconciliation. Ordinary Cypriots, meanwhile, feel torn. Many simply want peace and stability, but fear that each new weapon system, each new alliance, pushes that dream further away. This isn't just about Cyprus and Turkey. The deal has ripple effects across the entire Eastern Mediterranean. For Israel, it's a victory, expanding its defense exports and deepening ties with a European Union member state. For Greece, it strengthens the emerging Athens-Nicosia-Jerusalem axis, seen as a counterweight to Turkish influence. For Turkey, it reinforces the perception of isolation. Already at odds with Egypt, Israel, and the EU over maritime boundaries and gas exploration, Ankara now sees its room to maneuver shrinking further. And for NATO and the United States, it's a headache, because Washington cannot afford open conflict between two of its key partners, Turkey and Israel. So where does this all lead? In the short term, a direct military clash is unlikely. Neither Cyprus nor Turkey wants open war. But the risk of miscalculation is growing. A drone straying too close. A radar lock mistaken for aggression. A political crisis spinning out of control. Each new system, each new deployment, makes the region more crowded, more tense, and more fragile. In the long run, this deal cements Cyprus's place in the Israeli-Greek partnership. It ensures that any future conflict in the Eastern Mediterranean will no longer be local, but regional, involving multiple powers at once. Cyprus may be a small island, but today it stands at the heart of a storm involving Turkey, Israel, Greece, and the European Union. The purchase of the Barak MX isn't just a defense upgrade. It's a statement, a declaration that Cyprus will stand its ground no matter the cost. But here's the real question. Will this step bring long-term security? Or will it push the Eastern Mediterranean closer to a dangerous new crisis? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Cyprus Real View. We're bringing you the untold stories, the hidden tensions, and the inside look at Cyprus and the Mediterranean that you won't find anywhere else. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.